I did, Mayor. Thank you, Ryan. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. Ms. Daphne Donovan, would you like to come down and address the commission? Is that microphone on?
Good evening. My name is Rashana Dabney Donovan, Dabney-Donovan. Thank you for the opportunity for me to speak according to Florida State statute. First and foremost, I would like to go on record stating that the statement is of my own accord and does not display any negative or defensive behavior. All information is true, and I look forward to further discussion in the proper forum within the court of law. The three things I was voted for termination for are neglect, mismanagement of the police department, and misconduct. These allegations are completely false, as contrived by those whose vindictive nature overshadows due process, truth, and justice. Without complete and factual evidence, those same vindictive persons plotted to defame, harass, belittle, and conjure up false allegations against me, to include violations of officers' civil rights, claiming that I target white male officers, claiming that I have mismanaged grants, claiming that I have criminally charged a commissioner, and claiming that I've ignored complaints by not completing investigations properly. It has been stated throughout the past year and a half, numerous times in numerous meetings, that I am unqualified for the position of chief. However, I have met all the qualifications set forth in the chief of police position announcement packet and applied for the position because I am qualified and stand before you as such. I am a Black female, certified, I repeat, certified law enforcement officer with a long-standing, unblemished career, yet I have been continually harassed, defamed, and berated. This harassment and false claims have now garnered support from those one would think that with their own past would not be so quick to follow suit. Racist behavior towards me is evidenced by numerous public meetings and social media posts and comments, and has conjured up egregious claims which have been reported to FDLE and the OIG, all of which were dismissed because there's no proof. Collusion created negative work relationships with members who previously had positive relationships with me. Because of personal vendettas and hidden agendas, the community has been fed false statements regarding the police department in an attempt to cause discord and fear within the community, when in fact, we all should have been working together to enhance positive relations and strengthen community bonds. I have never neglected the police department. I have never mismanaged the police department. I have never engaged in misconduct. This is all pretext by the town to cover up discrimination, harassment, defamation, and retaliation, which I have been subjected to. I am qualified and remain qualified to do the chief's job for residents, visitors, police personnel, and police personnel. It is also evident that there was, in fact, something to gain upon my termination. Therefore, certain commissioners should not have been allowed to participate in a vote under any circumstance or lead the charge for my termination. Additionally, I stand by my statement on April 5th, 2024. I would like to thank those who have shown unwavering support for me during my time at the town of Pembroke Park Police Department. And at this time, I will turn it over to my counsel.
Good evening, members of the commission, council. I think this.
Please just get your name for the record, Counselor.
I'm sorry, Stefan Lopez on behalf of Ms. Donovan, Ms. Dabney Donovan. This comes at a time where, first of all, I don't believe the proper procedure was followed under the statute. Ms. Donovan was terminated, and then she was given notice on April 8th. So procedurally, I think the commission erred. As someone who has successfully overcome summary judgment on a custom and policy and practice against the city of Miami Gardens under Monell, which is almost impossible to overcome, I can tell you this: based on all the evidence that I've gathered in this case, based on all the witnesses that I've spoken to in preparation for this, I believe my client has a strong case against the city for disparate treatment based on race and based on gender. And I do believe that the allegations that were made against her is pretext to cover up the discrimination. Now, having said that, my client loved her job. My client loved serving the citizens, the residents of this community. Having said that, no one wants a protracted litigation in this case. Certainly lawyers live for that. The town is represented by a great law firm, very good counsel. But in this context, the best result for both parties, for the commission, for the town, for the residents, is to move from this. My client has spent a lifetime of making correct decisions, living up to ethical standards, obeying the rule of law. She will not have her reputation that she spent an entire lifetime achieving tarnished. And so the only way in America, when someone has their reputation tarnished, is to go to a court of law and to seek to vindicate her rights. The lawsuit would be against the town. The lawsuit would be under Title VII. Title VII, discrimination based on race and gender is prohibited under Title VII, the Civil Rights Act of 1964. It was meant for black and colored and people of color. My client is a person of color. We know that from the hearing, from the commission meeting where she was terminated, we know that there was an advice not to hire someone right away, not to place someone right away. And the town did. But the town did with someone of not a protected class, of a white female. So there's where the Title VII discrimination based on race begins. And then with a white male, another not protected class. And that is where we stand here today. This is something that my client wants to put behind her, but she can't. Not as long as there's allegations that she's engaged in misconduct, that she's been neglectful. She tried to do the best job she could, and she was handcuffed by many in this town, and she was defamed by some in this town. She was harassed, she was discriminated, and she was retaliated against. So having said that, because that's the way lawyers talk, it's not, my client's not threatening the town. My client has to vindicate her rights. She's been terminated, and she believes all of those things have happened to her. And I've seen enough evidentiary support to support those claims. This is not the time or the place to dispute or to make allegations. That's just this is just a basic recitation of what's to come. I thank you for the time. I thank you for the opportunity to give that you gave my client to speak, and we look forward to working this out. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. If there is there any discussion that you guys would like to engage in? If not, then the motion still stands unless there is a motion on, unless someone makes a motion. If not, the motion stands as what it was at that prior meeting. Is there a motion? Nope. Okay. With that, I thank you all. Thank you for your time. Okay. 7.1 floodplain management. Intern Town Manager Ghani.
May I, before the manager presents, if I could just read the title, Madam Mayor, Commission, for the record. The item is ordinance number 2024-007, an ordinance of the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, amending Chapter 10 of the Town's Code of Ordinances entitled Flood Prevention and Protection, amending Article 1 entitled Administration by specifically amending Division 2, Section 10-12 entitled Basis for Establishing Flood Hazard Areas, providing for an update to the date of the flood insurance study and flood insurance rate maps, amending Article 2 entitled Definitions by specifically amending Section 10-75 entitled Definitions and Scope, providing the definition of market value, providing for applicability, codification, providing for conflict, severability, and providing for an effective date.
Who are you looking for?
Steve? All right.
He's not here yet?
Oh, he was here. All right, that's fine. The town was given, sorry. The town was given notice, I believe it was about 2 years ago, where there has been map changes or the flood insurance rate maps, and changes to those maps were sent to the town. One of the issues here is that on July 31st, 2024, the resolution must be adopted for the new rate maps that FEMA has presented for us. So we have a deadline of July 31st, 2024. I believe in your package, there's also some of the amendments or some of the changes that were presented from FEMA. What I did is actually incorporate the previous and the previous maps together with the present rate maps that FEMA has provided, and you could see the differences from both maps. Steve?
Basically, the only, I'm sorry, Steve Pizzolo, interim building official, the only differences in your current ordinance and the ordinance that we're looking to adopt is the new map title and the date of the map. Other than that, the ordinance is pretty much exactly the same as you've used in the past.
Okay. So I definitely want to have some discussion on this. These letters back and forth from FEMA, and I also want to make sure that the public is aware of what exactly is going on. So somewhere around 2005, FEMA, somewhere between 2005 2010, FEMA came in with some maps regarding what levels were floodplains, what levels were going to be required to have insurance, and were considered flood areas, and required that if you had a home that had a mortgage in those areas, you were going to be required to pay flood insurance. At that time, I believe it was Craig Smith. We engaged Craig Smith and Associates, as well as we had Peter Kuhn in here, and they fought with FEMA and basically showed the elevation levels of the city and all the drainage improvements that we had put in, and showed that there was no flooding the way that they were saying that the flooding was occurring because of the fact that all this stuff was in place. Now I'm looking at these maps right now, and I want to know, because I know that Todd had worked on this up until he left in 2019, going to the meetings with FEMA regarding this. Has Kimberly Horn been engaged? What model do they have? Because right now these maps are basically putting us back in flood areas, and it's not flood areas for the sake of rain, but it's flood areas for the sake of the wind velocity. And so I want to know where we are with this, because I don't want to create or tie our residents' hands into being responsible for now having to have flood insurance when they're assuming that now all of a sudden all of these lakes, whenever it rains, and I mean, you guys are closer to the lakes than I am, commissioners. Are you seeing 1 foot swells every time it rains?
Nope.
Are you? Because, I mean, now you guys are now going to be, I mean, it doesn't affect me. I'm not near a lake, so I'm not going to be required to have flood insurance. But I know that majority of the mobile homes are surrounded by lakes.
The maps they're using aren't even accurate reflection of the town, especially in Seneca. looks like Coca-Cola is exempt from being flooding. It's a decrease where Coca-Cola is, and nothing's changed over there whatsoever. So it looks like another major corporation's getting a big break, why it's being put on the backs of all the residents of the town.
Okay, so I want to know, where is Kimberly Horn at this? What models have they been engaging? Are we engaging them, or is Kimberly Horn engaging them? Where are the new plans? What's the time frame for this? Because I don't agree with this, and I don't agree with requiring our residents to end up now having to have insurance when these maps are kind of like, they're not accurate. I mean, it makes no sense that all of a sudden, when we were doing this before, it was the wind load was between US 1. It didn't go past US 1. It was A1A to US 1. Now, all of a sudden, you're saying that, oh, we're going to get these swells from where? From the ocean? Like, we're 7 miles away. So, who's working on this is my question, because I know every time I get the letters, I've been giving them to you and all the maps and everything like that for you to give to the engineers to fight this, because of the fact that it would be unfair for all of us to have to sit here and have to have these things. And I know you're wanting us to accept the ordinance, and I don't want to accept an ordinance that says we're a floodplain when my engineers are sitting here. We're spending how much money for
Here,
these?
I want to point something out here.
Yes.
Bamboo Paradise Mobile Home Park is owned by a former commission. The town, before me being here and before most of the commission up here, invested a great deal of money, millions of dollars, into this mobile home park for new water drainage and sewer, and it's listed as a special flood hazard area increase on this map. And Commissioner Hodgkins will tell you it's the only mobile home park in the town that doesn't get heavy flooding of water. So I completely disagree with these maps.
Okay. Steve? Oh, sorry.
Maybe we
Go
could,
ahead.
maybe we could get a hold of Kimberly.
You got to turn your microphone on.
Maybe get a hold of Kimberly Horn and have them clarify it, get us some new maps, get some updated information, so we're not looking at old stuff.
Okay, so if I can interject a little bit here.
Okay.
First of all, these maps are based on the 100-year study. Every 10 years, they do a map revision. There has been significant changes in this town, bringing what's called fill in, especially in the industrial area, which raises up that area and then creates potential of flooding in other areas. For an example, the last time we did a map revision, the city of Parkland, literally everybody changed. The old town was not in the flood zone. All of a sudden now everybody was in the flood zone, and the Newport and the new people that used to be in the flood zone were not in the flood zone anymore. So, it's a study that FEMA does over a 10-year period. The actual, there was a time for contesting it where a lot of cities in Broward County did contest it. That was 2 years ago. Accepting this does not mean that you cannot change your ordinance afterwards. But not accepting this in their time frame can have repercussions where you are not in the NFIP anymore. And if that's the case, then you can't get a federally backed mortgage.
Federally backed mortgage for what?
Any type of federally backed mortgage for a house.
Well, everything in here is a mobile home. You can't get a mortgage on that
Okay.
anyway.
So-
Federally backed mortgage.
I would like to see us engage our engineers. We have our plans coming through. I'd also like to see a study done. Did somebody do a full study of this area? Has anybody done that?
You have
Yes.
an engineer and public works director sitting right there. He should have all the information on this.
Kimberly Horn, who was commissioned to do the town's stormwater master plan, actually ran the models, and they looked at it, and I could actually have them here for the next meeting if you want to have them here to present on it.
Most definitely. Did they do a full study? I mean, who's checking this velocity zone from the beach? Who's doing that?
The velocity zones from the beach is what is considered the V zones, and those are based on a flood study that FEMA, based on Broward County. That is this
So
here.
have we been engaging them? Has our engineers done their study to say, hey, your studies are wrong? Because I don't live there, but I don't see 1 foot.
Areas that do flood aren't even marked on here. Areas that
Okay.
do not flood are marked on here.
So-
And correct me if I'm wrong here, Mr. Pizzillo, I believe the time to present those to FEMA, when those studies were, to refute those flood maps, was 2 years ago.
And we have fought them in the past, and we have been successful at this, even after that timeline. And I think that it would behoove us to protect our residents, you know, from this by fighting it again.
And that's your decision. It's up to you.
So,
I know that Commissioner Morissette's park floods terribly.
exactly.
And so there's there is issues, so even though bamboo doesn't.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, it affects you guys more than it affects us over on this side. The only thing that's affected over here is City Hall, which I haven't seen us underwater, and the Azure. So,
Actually, those areas, City Hall is not, but the areas to the back of City Hall, because we are looking at it for the generators right now. I just had to do a flood study to get the elevation for the generators. So the areas abutting this area is also in a special flood hazard area.
so would you guys like for us to engage our engineer to come back with a study that we can use to fight them?
I think we need to.
Okay. Do you need you have direction? Do you need a motion?
If there's consensus.
Is there
If
consensus?
there's consensus, that would be direction to your professional staff.
Already?
I don't know.
Why are we putting more money into another flood study if we just did one?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We could get
We
Kimberly
just
Horn
spent
here.
almost $400,000 on a master plan for stormwater.
No, it's
Not ready yet.
$178,000. It's not 400,000.
Okay, it was 300 and some thousand we approved for the stormwater and nearly the same for the sewer.
Okay, it's two separate things you're talking about, Commissioner.
I realize they're two separate things. I just said they were two separate things. We just paid almost 400,000 for
It's
each.
two separate companies, and you're talking about a stormwater analysis versus a sanitary sewer analysis. This is actually a stormwater analysis that you are talking about.
Isn't
And
Kimberly Horn doing the stormwater?
Kimberly Horn is the one who is running the models, and they are the ones I could get here to present the 100-year flood models that was commissioned a year and a half ago.
Okay. So,
Why don't we go ahead and do that?
yeah, so
Okay.
let's have them come out, and they are covering the velocity zones and all of this other stuff. Are they actually looking at all this paperwork that's coming through? Are they fully engaged in this?
The direction was to give Craig Smith this information. I also shared it with Kimberly Horn as well.
Well, Kimberly Horn's the one doing the stormwater, so wouldn't
That's
Kimberly Horn
correct.
be engaged in
Yes.
this?
Yes.
I mean, even if you engage Craig Smith, you'd still need Kimberly Horn since they're the ones that's currently working.
That is correct.
Plan.
They got
Okay,
all
so
this information.
You know what I would like to see is, if you guys are okay with it, I would like to see Kimberly Horn and Craig Smith here to discuss this and see where we are with this.
Okay.
Does your son's construction company do business with Kimberly Horn?
I don't understand the question.
Does your son's construction company do business with Kimberly Horn?
No, he does not.
Okay.
All right. So I think you have your direction for this item,
Okay.
and we look forward to hearing from them in the very near future, since we do know that there is a deadline.
Okay.
All right, thank you. 8.1, contract for interim police chief. Oh, which one of you guys want to handle it?
Oh.
Your name is on it. But attorney, go ahead.
Mayor, Commission, presented this evening is a proposed agreement between the town and Chief Dan DeCourcy for interim police chief services. For the record, the term of the agreement, I believe, is a 6-month period. Compensation is commensurate with a 6-month period. The terms and conditions of the agreement are generally consistent with your prior agreements with former chiefs. And it's a standard form employment agreement for a police chief.
Okay. Are there any questions, concerns?
Does that get backdated?
Is it backdated?
It is, it is not, it is not.
It was April.
Do we have it? Okay.
April. It's on there.
I'm trying to find it.
That was the April 5th date?
He was appointed on April 5th, that's correct.
Yes.
I don't see it being referenced as being retroactive, but to the extent the commission wanted to set a back date, effective date, that would be in order.
I think we need to set a back date on it.
Okay?
So you want it from,
Well, well,
I don't know what day that was.
if I may, this is only for interim services, right? So I don't have an issue hiring the chief on an interim basis prior to the hearing presentation by Chief Dabney Donovan. But again, the contract would only be for 6 months moving forward, so it'd be roughly 5 months left on that term.
The extendable in 6-month increments.
It could be extended.
I'm just gonna ask, just because I'm just curious. So, because of the fact that, I know that he's put together.
I'm sorry, Mayor, just one more. It actually, the effective date is as of April 15th, the way it's in the contract, not April 5th, it'd be April 15th. It's a 6-month provisionary period. It's in section 1 sub B.
So I'm just gonna ask the question for, you guys, because I'm just kind of curious. And also I'm just, because of the fact that I know when he came in, he had a 6-month plan, but I know that his hands were tied for literally 1 month where he was just kind of just keeping us afloat, but not actually able to implement his 6-month plan. And I know that if I'm not mistaken, I'm sorry, Dan, can you come down? It is a 6-month plan that you'd like to implement. And I know, like I said, your hands were tied for the first month of the contract because of the fact that you don't have a contract. Would you need to adjust your 6-month plan so that you're now going to be falling short a month by the fact that the contract's not running for a full 6 months?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, what I did was just continue to evaluate in the 30-day period that I've been here, observing, meeting with employees, and so on. And that was also part of my plan, but I gave you a 30, 60, and 90-day plan, and then implementation's going to start as I start to see the need of areas that we need to address right away.
Okay. Okay. So it would be your recommendation that you do need a full 6 months
Yes.
from today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm okay then.
Make
I'm
it a
okay with that.
7-month contract then, I guess, backdated to the 15th, or a year contract since it's only a handful of months. Are you okay
Up
with
to
a
you.
year? Year?
Are you,
No, we're gonna see the 7 months.
you want 7 months? I'm just trying to get a
Let's
consensus.
clarify the one that we're on, the 6-month one with
Well,
the,
that's what
the
I'm-
extra month.
Well, that's what I'm trying to understand
That's what
because
you
like I
just
said,
said. She said
his,
7 months.
so you
yeah.
want to do 7 months?
Yes,
Okay.
fine with me.
Can I call you Horowitz too? Oh my gosh, sorry. Commissioner,
I know, we look alike. The beard gives it away.
it's all the Jacobs in here. Like everyone has 2 names here that I have 2 separate Jeffrey Lewis's. I have 2 Jacobs. I'm like, y'all are just confusing.
7 months is fine. Let's
Okay.
just do it, get it
Okay.
done.
And if I may, that the
Yes.
compensation would be prorated and adjusted accordingly for the additional month?
Yeah. Okay. So is everybody okay with 7 months?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that acceptable?
Yes, ma'am.
Get you going so that we can get our accreditation?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you
Okay.
need a motion on this?
It'd be a motion to approve as amended.
Motion to approve as amended.
Second,
Okay. Roll call. Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion made by Commissioner Jacobs, seconded by Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins. Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins,
yes.
Vice Mayor Morset,
We heard.
Mayor Mohammed,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Kashem.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 8.2, office furniture for police department.
Yeah, at the last workshop, it was brought to your attention that we needed to get the furniture expedited for the police department. Presently, the company that we work with, most of the furniture was just ordered on a office by office basis, which did not meet the threshold for the town's procurement process, which is over $25,000 to go out to bid. The pricing that we got from the company office furniture was $33,367. $1.13. We then went back and we go.
Stop you. Okay, because I think, didn't you have a pre-conference with everyone, so to speak, to kind of give them an update that you're going to piggyback off of a state
Right,
contract?
so the piggyback of the state contract is
So you need a motion?
$39,956, yes,
Okay,
that's
so you need a
correct.
motion?
So, yes,
Yes, you need a motion.
What's the amount? What's the company?
$39,956.
Let's make a motion for 40,000, not to exceed.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Motion made by Commissioner Jacobs, seconded by Acting Clerk Commissioner Kashem. Vice Mayor Morsat?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Kashem?
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Because we have, 9 minutes to get through the rest of this before we have to stop the video?
I
fast.
can,
Go.
We're gonna go through it. Okay. So, you guys, everyone has received a copy of the assistant town manager's resumes. There are several memos floating around for the assistant town manager. Chance to go through them. I would hope so, seeing as how
Yes.
we've been having this thing. All right. So, is there a motion? If you want to give me my 9 minutes, go ahead. Or do you want to have discussion? Do you want to rank? Tell me what you guys want to do.
How do you want to do it? Do you want to just,
Well, you had basically, the HR sent out the memo. You had two.
I make a recommendation of who we go with?
Yes,
Is that what you want?
pretty much.
Okay, I make a motion that we go with, for the assistant town manager position. Do you want it item by item?
Yes.
Assistant town manager, I make a motion, we go with Chandler Williamson.
Is there a second?
Ms.
I s-
Mayor, I haven't had a chance to really interview some of the people that were on with all the things that we've got. Last week, I was pretty laid up pretty much with a medical problem, but I would like to have more time to go over some of these.
Okay.
So would I,
I can't hear the vice mayor.
of the Human Resource Company.
He says he thinks we should follow the recommendation of the Human Resources Company.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Okay, well, there's a memo in there that everyone received. So I'm going to say this. So there are several positions that are currently advertised. There are several positions that we receive resumes for. Currently, the town does not have an ACM, and with the fact that we're falling so far behind, and this was basically presented for a while now, this is something that I think we need to move forward on. The other two positions, well, the other three positions, one of them hasn't been advertised, and the other two, we currently have people in place. But for the assistant town manager, we don't have anyone in place. We have the people going on vacation coming up right now, and so I would like to see the assistant town manager filled.
That position wasn't chosen by our HR, from what I understand. It was chosen by
Well, the resumes, everybody had.
resumes that came in or whatever, but I don't know who screened them, who selected them, or how many there were.
Well, everybody got a copy of them.
We've had them sitting in front of us.
I've had a copy of them, but that doesn't.
We should have them filtered by the Human Resource Company.
They were. There's a memo. There's backup in the packet as well.
Have
for
you
it.
gone through all those? Can we get you to come up, please?
This is getting ridiculous.
I know, there's a motion on the floor in a second, so we'll still call the roll either way. Come on, come on down. Kristen.
Clarify the motion.
Good evening. I'm Kristen Biazar.
Give me 1 second.
Behind me is John Moeller. We're the consulting team with Garing Group and with Strategies. So for the assistant town manager, originally we received resumes with the top two, which we reviewed and got back with our recommendation. But since then, there are additional applications that have been submitted. But in the last meeting, it was discussion of calling out to the 5 candidates that were at the top, which we had not yet gone through. So we have excused ourselves from that recruitment, as my understanding is that you guys were already going to be calling out to those candidates.
Okay.
But it's already reviewed by them. So.
It's been,
Second.
okay, there's a motion and a second. Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna for the assistant town manager, because of the fact that there is a vacancy, there is a need, and the fact that it's currently vacant and we have things going on, we have our
Call the roll.
clerk going. Oh,
We only have 6 minutes. Call the roll.
sorry. Okay, roll call.
Mayor, just so you know, I have gone ahead and extended the time of the meeting only because we were running late.
Okay.
Motion was made by Commissioner Jacobs, seconded by Acting Clerk Commissioner Kashem. Vice Mayor asked that I clarify what the motion was. The motion was to hire the Assistant Town Manager, Mr. Chandler Williams. Mayor Mohammed,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Kashem,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins,
No.
Vice Mayor Morset.
No,
Motion passes.
I'd like to make another
Thank
motion.
you. Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that he's onboarded within the next week. The interim town manager is complaining that he's got too much on his plate, along with the public works and this position as well. And I don't want to drag this out any longer. We've been almost a year come August. Is that,
May I ask a question, Mayor, just given Commissioner Jacobs' comments? Has anybody spoken to the gentleman? Do we know, does he have to give notice at another position? Is he available immediately?
I've interviewed him back in September. I interviewed him again.
Again, I'm just from an availability standpoint, I don't want the commission to adopt a motion that he can't.
He's ready to start.
Okay, I just want, thank
He's
you.
available to start.
No, that's going to be the next question. Is a salary would be the next question.
Yes, there's a salary, because I had our assistant call to all of the positions, all the qualified candidates, and get salaries, as well as start dates. So,
And the background?
the background, that has to be done through through ADP, however you say it, or whatever that company is, Hire Right, or whatever you guys have to do. Okay, so
You have a personal relationship with this person?
do I have a personal relationship with who? I'm sorry, I heard.
They asked if
Just
you had a
wondering.
personal relationship with this
Yeah, I
guy.
was just wondering why we're pushing this through so fast without.
Well,
We're
it's
not.
not a push through so
It's
fast.
been sitting on the dais, and it just keeps getting drug out like everything else around this town. Nothing's been done in the last year, and until we get competent staff in here working, nothing's going to continue to get done.
Well, we've had a town manager from Aline being here, assistant town manager. We've had Juan before him, and none of them had an assistant. There was
What do you mean they didn't have an assistant?
Who
We
had
had
an
Tom
assistant?
Wild here for 29 years,
Who was
or
the
25
assistant
years.
town manager?
He doesn't
Well,
know because
oh, sorry,
JC was the only manager here when he was here, but he
Okay.
doesn't understand
How long
that
was
Miss
JC
Muse
without an
Salters had an
JC was
assistant
here
as
for what?
well.
3 years, and
3
we didn't
years.
have stuff done. And then before
And he
JC
didn't get
came,
anything done while he was here.
yeah, and before that you had Noel Daltrey, who was the assistant town manager when Agatha Musaltis was here. Before that you had Thomas Wild,
Slow
who was
down,
here.
please. Could you slow down?
Okay. Well, can someone get him the history of who are the assistant managers?
You can put in a public records
Okay.
request for it like I have to do
Yes.
for everything.
Did you want to say
to
something,
speak?
Daniel? Come down. You have to come to the mic.
for the record,
Back again, eh?
Mayor, Vice Mayor saying something. Go ahead, sir.
I didn't hear.
for the record, I believe
Hi, Commissioner.
that we
Still haven't talked to you yet.
Hold on.
First, we need to have a town manager before we get an assisting town manager.
Okay.
If
Noted.
you're looking for the town manager, then you have to wait another 6 months. And we are behind all of them. I don't understand the reason why you want to go back then. We have enough time to overthrow those things and resume that why we did not do it in that between time.
You have no command staff, because the clerk will be out of town on vacation, as well as the acting town manager will be out of town for a month this summer. So you have no command staff literally in about 2 weeks. Okay, I'm sorry, Daniel.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Jean-Daniel Lazar. I live over
We
there.
know which building.
Thank
Yes.
you. I want to make sure I put that out. Commissioner Jacob and we are once again are in the
Write this one down.
same steps, same understanding. My daughters,
Excuse me.
all the vacancies that I've been hearing here, we've been talking about this. My daughter is a year old now. I have never heard that before, for a search to take place that long. For God's sake, even for the presidencies, by November, you know something. By January,
They're
they will-
sworn in.
they will be sworn in. So Commissioner, thank you again for being on my side. Hey, my mayor, for the fact that we understand each other, that means we doing something right, I guess. And we are seeing the positive of this beautiful city of ours. But it is beyond me for the vacancies that we've been discussing. We're hiring outside consultants on top of consultants to vet, to go through, comb through all that, and we're still in the same thing. And I come on, we gotta do better. Come on now.
Why we don't have a assistant? Why we
Oh no,
don't
I
have a
promise you, I know why.
Oh, okay.
From outside looking here, I know why. I see why. It's because it takes forever for us to get our head together and to lead this city. Every time there is something that positive that will bring the city to a better light, there's some hiccup that comes, and I'm like, what? It does not. As a matter of fact, hire me, I will hire somebody on our behalf. I don't have. I believe me, I have my own problem in my Dade County, but this cannot take that long for, especially for town management, assistant town management. My daughter is a year older now. I'm begging you on behalf of the city here. Let's get our act together. This.
Thank you.
I hope you heard me a year ago when I said how dysfunctional it was. You can get my number from Susie and we can have that talk when you want. Waiting on it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So your motion was for him to start in the next 2 weeks. His salary requirement is $127,000. And I know I had reached out to you about adopting a standardized contract for the positions.
We are working on a template. That'll
Okay.
be a plug and play for all of your employees. Let me ask, and again, I'll ask a question I don't know the answer to. Historically, has the town had employment agreements with your employees?
Not the assistant,
Employment agreements.
just the management.
I mean, typically with the manager, and again, now you have a police chief.
Yeah.
But
There's no contract with
There was no
the,
contracts for any of the other positions.
Is it your
The consultants were, remember, because you had Michael
Well-
Miller, who was a consultant. It was his firm.
right, consultants,
yeah.
non-employee consultants would be different. I'm talking about just town employees.
I believe he's considered a town employee and a contract's not there for the assistant town manager position. It's
That-
only for the manager position.
And generally, I would agree with that, Mayor.
Okay. So either or, we'd
but
like to get him
we're-
started, onboarded next week, get him started this
But we
next
also
week
have
as
to
well.
do the background check.
Yeah, he has
before
to do
start.
well, that's the onboarding.
It only takes like 3 days to do
Yeah.
that.
So, and the salary is 127
If
with the
that's-
same benefits that the others have had, whatever JC had or whatever the handbook says. We just want to move this forward. Okay. That was your motion, right?
Is that the top?
Huh? 127?
Yeah.
I don't recall what the range was for it. I'd have to look it up, but we asked each one what they were looking for as far as salaries were concerned.
So if they had said 3 million, we would have gone for it.
No,
Well, good.
they had to stay within the
Good to know.
salary range that we quoted. There's only one person who's not within that salary range, but everybody else, for the most part, is within the salary range.
David Delina,
I don't know what the
when
salary
we
range
fill
is.
all of these positions.
I said,
will we
I
have
don't
any
know what
money
the salary range is. I never talked to him about it.
No, I had Susie call all the candidates who actually met the qualifications to get start dates.
You can thank me for putting you on the spot.
I'm sorry, sir.
I said you can thank me for putting you on the spot here.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Comes with the job.
So if we fill all these positions that we've been going through here, how will we have any money left?
Well, we've historically, we started 2024 with about 7 open positions. Okay.
That's a lot of
And
positions.
so, but, again, the short answer is in this current year budget, yes, because we've had 7 positions open for 6 months.
So each one of those, we
Right.
paid $350,000, $400,000 because we didn't pay it out.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That is gone.
We budget for that.
First, wait a second. I want to go on the record. We do not pay any employee here $400,000 a year.
No, it adds up over that 3-year period where we didn't have one.
I don't know, but to answer your question, so yeah, yes. Now, I would have to, for each one of these, I don't know what the, I think that I had inputted in there a certain amount of money. I think that sounds about right for an assistant town manager. So, yeah. Now, it's all predicated, right, on property values next year. So, and also if your police department decides to form a union, you're already at, I think, the highest millage rate. A large majority of your revenue for operations comes from ad valorem taxes. So yeah, it's that balancing act. Now the other thing too is also keep in mind that the salary that you provide to somebody, you got to add about 45 to 51% on top of that for insurance, for payroll taxes, for pension. So but we try to accumulate all that. So it can be expensive. But if these are open positions, and it can cause the town to move
Put the
forward.
town in financial jeopardy because we're so anxious to fill all these positions that we haven't filled for years. So
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I didn't.
Vice Mayor would like to ask a question.
Okay, go ahead.
I hope you can hear me, David. How
Marlon,
does,
we cannot hear him.
the cost to the city compare between those outsourced positions like town planner and chief building official? How does that compare
Helping.
with hiring our own?
He's asking how it compares to outsource all the positions here in town versus having town staff.
When you consider the cost of pension and health insurance and property tax and payroll taxes, but again, staff works at your direction, and you set the direction, and we tell you whether or not you can where the sources of revenue will come from. The challenge really comes in pent up capital improvements, right? Because if the general fund also funds other types of programs, and so again, it's a balancing act. If you were to ask me, do we have budget for it in FY24? The answer is yes. I was asked that, and here's the reason why. We always budget for open positions during the year at a full burden labor rate. And now, if you're asking me in the future, you know what? June 1st, or the first 3 days of June, is a very important time, because we will find out from the property appraiser how we did. We averaged about a 9% increase in property values. So,
Mayor, I'd also like to add in, there's quite a bit of difference between having your own employee here that's dedicated to the town 24/7 versus having a contractor that's outside. We've tried both in the 5 years I've been here. We always had better success with having it in-house than having an outside contractor. Like to move forward on the next item.
Well, we need to call a roll on the motion.
Oh, have a roll call?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to.
Sorry, roll call.
Actually, I need a motion
you need a
because
motion.
it was
He made the
stated.
motion.
He made the motion, but I need a second.
Okay. Roll call.
Motion made by Commissioner Jacobs to bring in the assistant city manager as soon as possible within the next week. And the salary will be $127, correct?
Correct.
Motion made by Commissioner Jacobs, seconded by Acting Clerk Commissioner Kashem. Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Kashem?
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins?
I will say yes, but I would also like to know that in the future that we use this HR company. That's why we're paying them the money, and let's not skip that step.
Vice Mayor Morset?
No.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint the building official, Emmanuel. I cannot pronounce his last name, and I really don't want to botch it. Something wrong.
He's here.
HR, come up. He was the only one qualified for the HR or for the building official position.
You
I
actually-
can't pronounce his last name.
Me either.
Okay.
So actually, there's two qualified candidates. We sent an updated list, so it's that gentleman as well as James McGinnis.
Okay.
They're both highly qualified. They both have great experience. They have all the certifications as well. So you actually have two great candidates. Our recommendation actually would be for the town assistant, acting town manager to interview these individuals and then make a recommendation.
They work at the pleasure of the commission. This is the commission form of government. They work under us on that.
Okay.
Alim, you did the interview?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. I did get a lot of good stories about James McGinnis, the other one.
All right.
Not that one from Alabama.
My motion stands as stated. I believe we need to go with the
You want Emmanuel?
pronounce it. Go ahead.
Really?
Yeah, go ahead.
And what was your recommendation again?
Ben Hoevi.
I mean, I would recommend interviewing the candidates with specific questions to what they'll be doing and
I think that sounds
Ensuring
is
their
that too
qualifications.
logical for everybody.
It's a building official position.
What did she say? You recommend?
I would recommend interviewing the candidates with specific
sorry.
questions to ensure that they can do the job as needed.
He's the building official currently over in Hollandale.
Well, he's the assistant building official.
Yeah.
Okay, I make a
Okay,
motion.
I'd like to interview James. Because I asked around a couple other city managers and they kind of highly recommended him.
Okay.
Would you be okay with waiting
I'll
till next
withdraw
week?
my motion.
I'll do a special. I'll do a special for it, okay? But just
When
double
is
check
the
between
special
the
going to
two.
be?
When we should be having our meeting in June, we'll do it right before, probably.
On the June 12th? Is it 12th?
We have to discuss what day we're doing it, June 12th or June 9th, or, because there's an issue. We also need to, I think, because Marlon's not going to be here, we need to give Susie the authority to do the meeting for the 12th, if that's the
June
case.
12th, yeah. That's the
Okay.
meeting.
Yeah, so can we do a special, can we authorize Susie to have administrative access to iCompass?
Why can't we just put it on that meeting?
Yeah, we can. Know what I'm saying, but we don't have a clerk that day, so I just want to, we need,
So why can't Susie do the meeting?
she can, but she also doesn't have administrative access to iCompass. So we need to give her administrative access to iCompass so that she can actually upload the agenda.
Do you need a motion for that or a direction?
Just consensus, directed.
Direction,
Yeah.
direction to give
Yeah, it's really
our
motion.
assistant access to iCompass to
Be able to upload, publish.
be able to upload and cover the meeting on June 12th?
Can we go back a minute?
Okay.
Okay, so right now, Commissioner Jacobs was making a motion. So
I
you-
withdrew it.
You withdrew your motion, all right? And now we're going on to,
Well, we were still on that. We were just,
Meeting?
we were scheduling, no, what we were doing was we were scheduling the building official to be done at the next meeting on the 12th.
okay.
Okay. So, the contracts administrator, I know you said it was problematic, or well, somebody said it was problematic between the two of you. Okay.
So that I'm sorry?
I read.
No, that position is just very broad and there are minimum qualifications. I do believe we can reevaluate the job description, update the minimum qualifications for the most qualified applicants. And also it's been sitting out there for over 30 days, so we could refresh the job description, repost it for a minimum of 5 days, have updated applicants with the qualifications necessary, and then I can give a recommendation on who qualifies.
Need direction or,
If there's consensus, that's the direction that it would be.
all right, direction to redo the contracts administrator job description and go back out for a contracts administrator. It's not a critical position, but needs filled.
Yeah. Okay. And then the town planner, I'm looking at both of y'all.
So town planner has a
I
lot
just
of.
read what she emailed.
Okay. Well, the town planner has a lot of qualified applicants at this time. I would say you have 13 about that qualify. You have about 7 that are preferred with their education and their experience with their municipalities. I would also recommend interviewing candidates for this position.
Can we have you guys narrow it down to 3?
Sure.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, and then can you schedule interviews for us for me, I don't know about the rest of them for next week.
Are the interviews all of you together or individual?
Individual.
They're all individual.
Okay.
I prefer mine through Zoom. I don't know. Zoom?
Yeah, I have June too.
Zoom? Or is everybody wanting Zoom meetings or do they want in person? Who do you?
June.
Online.
Okay, so yeah. So Zoom?
Zoom is good.
Okay, so yeah, if you could schedule Zoom meetings.
Would I just get with Susie for your?
Yes,
Perfect.
work with Susie on that.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. So, sorry, Kristen and John, welcome aboard. Sorry, didn't, we threw you right into the lion's nest. So everyone, this is Kristen and John. They are our new HR company. They'll be handling the onboarding, dealing with trainings and schedulings and things like that, and dealing with administrative issues as it pertains to the into the town when it comes to staffing issues. And you guys were a hire by the commission, so when you guys report, so that way you have some direction, is when you report to the city manager or assistant city manager as well as the commission. So if you could please make sure that all the commissioners are CC'd in the emails, and commissioners, when you reply, please make sure you don't reply to all like I did the other day.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, 8.4, Parks and Rec Advisory Board. We had this discussion last week to go ahead and appoint the board members pending background checks. I think 3 of them have already been completed. Is that correct? I believe so, but I'm not. To Kristen? Uh-oh. Okay, so can we just do, have a motion? I'll entertain a motion to appoint the board members pending their background check, completed background checks.
I entertain a motion to checking the background check for this?
No.
Which one?
Shouldn't we wait till they're all approved and appoint them at the next?
No, go ahead and meet before our meeting. And 3 of them are completed. They have like another day. So, I mean, if it's questionable, those are the ones that we'll pull them back. But the other ones, they can go ahead and move forward.
Who's going to determine the question out?
Huh?
Who's going to determine that?
The HR and Susie.
Okay.
I'm trying to move things along because
All right.
you got summer coming up here and we need to get the master plan
Okay.
done.
I'll make a motion that we approve the board members pending their background investigation.
Second.
Okay. Roll call.
Motion made by Commissioner Jacobs, seconded by Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins. Acting Clerk Commissioner Kashem? Yes. Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Morset?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Quick question. Who's going to be issuing the offer letter? That's why I'm like, see how everyone turned their heads. And that's why I want to make sure that the offer letter gets sent out tomorrow.
Who has historically handled that function?
I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. I know it's not me. Okay.
I mean, typically it's a function of HR. Again,
But they're only here Mondays and Wednesdays. So, David, are you going to go try to catch one of them?
Who am I catching?
Somebody from HR?
Yeah, hold on, right here.
Okay, thank you. That would be helpful. I'm glad I asked that question because I love how we kicked them off. Aha. Kristen, question. Would you be the one to send the offer letter out to Mr. Williamson?
Sure.
Tomorrow? Is that possible?
Yeah.
Okay.
Once I have the letter and his, I can send it to his contact, but yeah.
Okay. Do we have a sample letter? Like, what have you guys been doing in the past? Isabel, did you get an offer letter when you took the job in the city? I mean, how do we normally do this? I'm just,
Our office has not been involved. I don't know the answer.
I mean, I'm just trying, I just want to make sure. I don't want the not me ghost to pop up like back in the days with Family Circle.
ADP supposed
Christian sent it to Isabel.
Christian, okay.
I can call her tomorrow and get
Okay.
some clarification.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Now, just for my understanding, you want the offer letter to go out prior to us doing the background check and getting the results, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And just let them know it's pending the background check, but
Of course.
we really need this like yesterday.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. Do we need her for anything else before she runs away? Hold on, I'm checking. No, okay. Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. Sorry about that. Okay. Housekeeping, summer hiatus. So do you guys want the end of July, the end of June, July, and we come back in August? Yes? Everybody's okay with that? We'll speak that.
Yeah.
Eric?
July and August.
Okay. There you go. You want a motion for the town?
Yes.
Wait. Before everybody hurries it up, let me go ahead and just give out the dates because we also do need a meeting to go ahead and do the
budget with David?
millage, the tentative millage rate.
What's our dates for David?
So we currently have June 12th would be the next meeting, the regular commission meeting. The following after that would be June 26th. And if we end everything on June 12th, then you would also need to do the tentative on June 12th.
Okay, that's fine.
That's fine? So
That's
you're
fine.
going to have.
I mean, we're
so
not
you
trying to
don't
raise anyone's
need-
taxes, correct, commissioners?
So you don't need.
Yes, commissioners? We're
What?
keeping the tax rate the same, correct? Okay.
Don't
so
plan on changing it.
I don't plan on changing it either. That's why I'm asking.
My goal was to bring it down.
Yeah, that's what they're saying, that to do the millage on June
Okay.
12th. Right.
Okay, so,
Well, so I just want to make sure that you have, I'm sorry. September 11th and September 25th, right? Those are our first, September 11th would be our first public hearing. Second one would be September 25th. Now, I'm going to get preliminary property tax figures. And so June, I think 3rd or the 5th, that's when the property appraiser releases that to all of the communities. And so I'm already I have actual data through April, so I'll have 7 months of actual data. I'll also try to predict where we're going to end the year at for FY24, so that way we can see how much, if any, reserve funds we may have accumulated because of open positions or projects that just were not carried out that need to get rolled forward into the next year. But the other thing too is I was thinking that, hold some budget workshops. But I didn't know that you guys aren't here in those months. So I was just wondering how you want to do that. I'll keep doing my work as far as capital projects, working with Aleem. But typically, we hold some budget workshops. We look at preliminary. For example, I'll put in a certain percentage increase for cost of living adjustments for all of your wages, and I'll put in numbers for estimated insurance. I know that our general liability insurance is skyrocketing. So at the end of the day, I put all of those data points in, and we kind of see where we're at. And so I was wondering if you wanted to have budget workshops, or if you are more accustomed to meeting one-on-one, staff is here to serve you.
One-on-one.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm a cook.
Okay, so one-on-one. Okay, so then what I'll do is I'll keep on moving forward. Once I have good, solid preliminary budgets, and then after we then go through each vetting process, then that'll turn into a final budget, and then that's when we'll have the hearings on the 11th and the 25th, and we can begin rolling forward.
Okay, sounds
Okay.
good. All right, thank you. Uh-huh. Okay, so we have, everyone's okay with the schedule of no meeting on the 26th of June, no meeting on July 10th, no meeting on July 24th, and the first meeting will be August 21st,
No,
correct?
28th.
28th, okay. Are you guys okay with that? August 28th is our first meeting back? Okay. So there you go. I'll entertain a motion that we suspend the June 26th, July 10th, July 24th, and August 14th meeting.
Make a motion as stated.
There a second? Roll call.
Motion made to cancel meetings on June 24th, July 10th,
June 26th.
July 24th, and August 14th by Commissioner Jacobs, seconded by Acting Clerk Commissioner Kashem. Vice Mayor Morset?
June 26th, June 26th. You said June 24th. That's a Monday.
Oh, it's June 26th.
Okay.
Sorry. It's July 24th. Mayor Mohammed?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Kashem?
Yes.
And Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make sure that Susie has all the access to be able to do the meetings.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So you have your summer hiatus and meeting dates, correct? It's all one and the same? Okay.
Yeah, we
'cause I
had
didn't know
talked
what the second
about I just wanted to make sure that we could do the millage.
Okay.
That was why, because my other suggestion was going to be to not have the June 12th meeting and instead have it at the end of June. But it's okay, this works out fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
David, you'll be ready for us. Sorry. David, you'll be ready for us June 12th with the millage rate. I mean, we're not going to raise the taxes, and if we set it at the current rate, we have the ability to go lower. We just don't have the ability to go higher.
Yes, madam. That is true. Right now, I think you're at 8.5.
25, yes.
Right, and so, well, a lot of things start to come to a head at this moment in time. Actually, it's actually very exciting for a person in my line of work. But anyway, so so we'll get to know what our gas tax is going to be. We'll get to know what other sources of revenue that we have. We'll begin to estimate how much grant dollars we're going to receive while I'm working with Aleem and his staff. That'll help with some of those capital projects.
Acting Town Manager.
To go on the record and say you're the only one excited about taxes.
I'm sorry. Yeah, not taxes, just the whole process. No, just the whole process. So we'll again, it's more a formality and things like that. But we can definitely move that for that date.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, 10.1, enforcement of the code of conduct.
Mayor?
Yes.
Mayor Commission, you may recall at your last workshop, you heard a presentation from Sidney Calloway regarding one of the investigations that he was engaged to conduct by the then former town manager. As an outgrowth of that conversation, our office was directed to look into potential options to enforce the town's code of conduct, which is a ordinance this commission adopted last year, through Chapter 162, which is the code enforcement process administered primarily by your chief code enforcement officer and her team. Again, the Code of Conduct, as any ordinance, could legally be enforced through Chapter 162. However, there are a couple procedural recommendations that we had. Following the workshop, we prepared a fairly detailed legal memorandum, which is included in your backup, that lays out a process along with some of the options and potential challenges associated with that process. One of the issues that we would recommend is under Chapter 162, when a violation of any ordinance occurs, the code officers are required to give a respondent, a violator, an opportunity to cure the violation. You'll see this where if a lawn goes unmowed, they may issue a warning or a courtesy notice and give the violator a certain period of time to bring the property into compliance. With a code of conduct violation, it's a little bit of a unique circumstance because there really is not any need or opportunity to cure a violation of the code because the action will have essentially amounted to the violation. But in order to go down that path, in order to eliminate the need to cure, Chapter 162 requires a finding that the violation is either irreversible or irreparable in nature. Your code of conduct provides for the enforcement of the code by this commission. It includes specific penalties. One of the options, one of the penalties in that ordinance allows you to essentially impose, and I'm going to read the language specifically, it speaks to any other lawful penalty deemed to be reasonable and appropriate by the town commission. To the extent that the mayor and commission find it to be reasonable and appropriate to enforce the code of conduct through the magistrate process, that option is legally available. In order to make the city's position, town's position, a little stronger from an enforcement perspective under Chapter 162, we've actually crafted a motion, which is included in your backup this evening, in your agenda this evening, that would find violations of the code to be irreparable and irreversible in nature. To the extent the commission were to adopt that motion, your code officers would have the ability to issue immediate citations without having to provide an opportunity to cure. It's a statutory process that the code officers can find, but because under our code, this commission controls the answer, this commission controls the enforcement of that ordinance. So we would recommend actually having a motion on the record, much like the one worded in your backup, where the commission has found that violations of the code of conduct are irreparable, they are irreversible. That will give your code officers more opportunity to enforce the code without providing that notice opportunity. It will also give your magistrate some additional enforcement opportunities without having to give any person who violates the code of conduct an opportunity to bring their bring their conduct into compliance. Typically, it's a property violation. The code of conduct is not a property code. I mean, it's a fairly unique process, which we laid out in the memorandum, but the motion in the backup this evening would strengthen the town's position, give your code officers some additional resources when they get before the magistrate.
I would like to make a motion to approve 10.1, enforcement of the code of conduct.
And if I may, Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins, to the extent that you're looking to make a motion, actually, I would recommend the actual wording on the agenda, which is a proposed motion that could be read into the record. And for the record, it would be pursuant to the authority provided in Section 2-16 of the Town Code, which is your Code of Conduct ordinance. It would be a motion to direct the town's professional staff to pursue the enforcement of the Code of Conduct through Chapter 162, including but not limited to the special magistrate process or through county or circuit court, and find that alleged violations of the town's Code of Conduct for elected and appointed officials to be irreversible or irreparable in nature pursuant to Chapter 162 of the Town Code. That motion, again, if adopted by the commission, would give your code officers and the magistrate some additional resources in the context of enforcement.
Once again, you would like me to read that all over?
You could just say, so moved.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Discussion.
Yes, there was a second.
Who second?
Vice Mayor Morissette did.
Okay, discussion, yes. Discussion?
I think this is abuse of power on behalf of this commission. I think this is going way too far.
Okay. I'm a little bit confused. I'm sorry. I'm not even a little bit confused in this process. I'm a lot confused in this process, and
I can barely hear you.
it's on.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically what I was saying is that I'm a little bit confused by this, just because it feels a little subjective, where you're saying you're saying the code enforcement officer can basically come up here and discipline us for like
No, no.
parliamentary procedures?
No.
Or violation of parliamentary procedures?
This commission has a code of conduct ordinance which you adopted last year.
Yes.
It's codified as section 2-16 of the town code. In that code of conduct, it includes specific conduct guidelines that apply to the town commission, apply to all appointed officials as well. This also applies to advisory boards.
Who's writing the ticket?
It will be a citation that was issued by your code enforcement officers, much like any violation of any ordinance in the town code. Chapter 162 provides for the enforcement of any ordinance through a special magistrate or code enforcement board process. At your workshop, this commission discussed having the code of conduct enforced pursuant to that process. There was some challenges that in the course of our research we identified, one of them being the cure period, which Chapter 162 provides. Typically, if you find somebody who's engaged in illegal dumping or failing to mow their lawn or whatever conduct might be, a code officer would give the person a courtesy notice, and the statute requires an opportunity to bring the property into compliance. If a person were to violate the code of conduct, there would not be any need or opportunity to cure the violation because once the action has occurred, it has occurred. But in order to get to an immediate citation, the violation under state law needs to be either irreversible or irreparable. And the motion before you this evening does two things. It provides direction to your code staff to enforce the code through Chapter 162. And in the ordinance itself, it specifically says that the ordinance could be enforced through any lawful penalty deemed reasonable and appropriate by the town commission. So I would ask the town commission to find that Chapter 162 is an appropriate process to enforce the code of ordinances, and then to find that violations of the code meet that criteria under the statute to give your code officer additional resources to bring the matter before the magistrate.
Okay, so.
And Mayor, I will agree that this is a highly unique process.
Yeah.
No question about it.
Okay, so okay, I'm just gonna have you follow my thought process here. Okay, so, and forgive me because I wasn't here at the last meeting. I was in Atlanta at the conference. And I'm not sure if you guys kind of went through this whole process of this. So, hypothetically, I'm going to use you, Marlon. I curse you out.
It's been done before.
I didn't do that.
Well,
Really? Okay. Let's see. Thank you. Okay. So hypothetically, I curse her out. That's now a violation of code of conduct. Or I attack one of the residents for coming up here disagreeing with my position, or I attack one of my fellow commissioners. Now my code enforcement officer is going to issue a citation. And now this is going to go before the magistrate. And I mean,
one of the things, if I may, Mayor,
yes,
the conduct that occurs between a roll call and an adjournment, the conduct that occurs on the dais at a public meeting would fall outside of this ordinance, as we say in our memorandum. Because when you are sitting on the dais, you have what's referred to as legislative immunity.
okay.
And it would create a different texture and create some different affirmative defenses for anybody who raised an issue during the course of a public meeting. But if there is conduct that violates that code of ordinances outside of, again, roll call to adjournment, outside of that public meeting, your code officer would have discretion to issue a citation, a notice of violation, and then ultimately that would go before the magistrate for a determination, much like any other code violation would.
But see, here's where I'm a little lost. Who's training the code enforcement officer to write these citations? Like, there's code enforcement school?
There is. The Florida Association of Code Enforcement, FACE.
That's for, structural issues, home issues, not duck issues. And so that's why, just follow my train of thought here. It's like, okay, well, we're culturally different. So what might be acceptable in my culture might be not acceptable in her culture or somebody else's culture. And so to have somebody sit here and write a citation who's an employee on their supervisor, in a commission form of government might be a little bit problematic. Or, you know, I don't know how to say this. Like,
Mayor,
where I'm
if I
trying to
may,
say
I agree.
uncomfortable with this.
I do, and I agree with you with regards to the uniqueness of this issue.
Okay.
I know you were not at the workshop where Mr. Callaway presented.
Yes.
He made a fairly detailed and lengthy presentation. One of his recommendations was this process, and several of your colleagues inquired of my office to look into it. We did just that. We prepared a legal memorandum, which is in your backup, which outlines the options and potential challenges with using Chapter 162 to enforce a code of conduct. Again, I cannot think of a time in the 20 years I've been doing this and the 40 years that my law firm has been representing municipalities where a code of conduct has been enforced under Chapter 162. But we're talking about an ordinance. And we know that state law allows the enforcement of an ordinance through either a code board or a special magistrate process. Just because it is unique doesn't mean that it cannot be done or it is in any way unlawful. To the extent that the commission wanted to move forward, we wanted to make it as easy for your code staff as possible under state law, and that finding of irreparable and irreversible nature would help and give your staff additional resources to the extent that there was an interest in moving forward.
Okay.
I'm still so confused.
You are too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's not just me. Okay, I just want to, I don't know, how do you safeguard against retaliation? How do you safeguard against, things like that? But then how do you sit here and boss your boss? Or, what level of training, who's going to administer the training to say, hey, what is and what isn't, because of the fact that it is based on somebody's interpretation of somebody else's conduct. At least in the past where we have these special investigations where you're having a team of lawyers who are, sifting, evaluating, and things like that. There's a due process. There is a process that's occurring, and it's an outside impartial process versus a process where this just seems to lead to a system of potential. I'm not saying, Jocelyn, I apologize, or whoever else is in our code enforcement department. I don't even know who's all there at this point. But, I apologize because I don't want to make it seem like they're doing something wrong. But I just want to, I just kind of want to understand, like, if we can't do our own investigations for code of conduct, that we have to use a special investigator for any management or any commissioners, why would we be using a lower level staffer to sit here to be the person to regulate or judge to write a citation on our behavior? So I'm kind of confused.
Well, again,
Like, I understand. I don't know. I think I would need to see like a little bit.
and I don't want to speak to the policy of the issue. Again, I don't have an opinion as it relates to whether or not this is good policy. I'm simply trying to put the legal pieces in place to the extent that the commission wanted to move forward. This is the direction that my office was given at the workshop. I know you were not in attendance at that workshop, Mayor, but this is the direction that we received, and we wanted to give the tools to your code staff to the extent that the commission had an interest in moving forward here. Again, it is a tool in the toolbox, but you raise valid points, Mayor, and again, they're policy-driven, and I'm simply trying to put the legal pieces in place.
Okay.
And once again, it doesn't affect on the diet what goes on up here.
I understand that.
You understand that?
No, I understand that, but at the same time, it's just
Now, maybe in the parking lot, it would be a different issue.
no. It doesn't affect us while the cameras are running. Is what I'll say. But it affects us outside of that, and that's where I have these issues because this is subjective. I would like, for me, I don't know about you guys. I'm going to speak for myself. I would like to see a little bit more cleanup, more direction, more something, more independence, more outside, less challengeable, less retaliatory, something
Less effective.
not less effective, because when you have an outside person like a Tanya Haddard or a Sydney Calloway or someone who's not a staff member here, I would say I would take the recommendations of those. I would take those folks, you know, basically because they're completely independent, to say, hey, look, you violated the code of conduct. Here's your report. And then let somebody outside, maybe it needs to go to the courthouse, but I just don't see my code enforcement department writing me up.
I do.
Especially if I don't give them a raise of 5% on September 1st.
I know you missed it, but the vice mayor said I do.
He says he does what? He sees the code enforcement division writing us up?
Yep.
Okay, well, that's his opinion.
Justice for
Hold on.
everybody.
Hold on. Put the microphone next to it so everyone could hear him.
He says justice for everybody.
Well, there is justice for everybody, but it just seems a little counterproductive.
Well, we can't
Wait
hear
one
him.
second. He
Hold
says
on. You
justice,
got to be able to hear
Yeah, I
him.
think we need to be able to hear the vice mayor.
justice for all. We all swear to that in every meeting. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Bob, come on down.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, Robert Chanzer. I just had a question for clarity on this. Like if we have comments from the public and we get up on the agenda, it has a code of conduct for anyone speaking. And so if I understand what you're saying is any action that goes on while the commissioners are on the dais up there, they can be rude, crude, abusive, or whatever, and they have special immunity for that. But if they leave the dais, they go outside and they do something, well, then they get a citation. I mean, where's the justice in that? There's no remedy for people going off the rails on the commission?
That was my first question.
May I try to respond, Mayor?
Yes.
So, I don't disagree with what you're saying. But keep in mind, there's a difference between decorum and a specific process we're talking about under state law. Chapter 162 is a very specific process with regards to issuing citations, bringing people before a special magistrate, imposing penalties, including monetary penalties. That's different from a decorum situation where if a person is disruptive at a public meeting, they can be physically removed and escorted out of the building. So there's a different tier, a different level of penalties. This code applies to the commission and their interaction with staff and each other.
But not up on the dais.
Well, again, a conduct up on the dais has different protections under state
so what
law.
do you do when they're out of control on the dais then? You can call that decorum. So how do you punish decorum?
Well, and again,
Have them removed from the dais?
you could, and in fact, just that very thing occurred last night in a city in Broward County, where a member of the commission was removed by the mayor from a dais. The mayor removed one of his colleague commissioners at a meeting in Broward County last night. So it does happen. Doesn't happen often, but it does happen.
Well, I think it should be kind of a uniform thing. I mean, if you're out of control, then you need to be punished, reprimanded, whatever, corrected.
I hear you.
You know, that's the whole purpose. I mean, you get up to speak, you got a code of conduct for the people speaking, so
I hear what you're saying.
you can't behave at a commission meeting, then, what do you got?
Well, like the attorney said, it's another tool in the toolbox that will help us kind of alleviate a lot of the instances that do happen. So.
Yeah, I think for this one, I would like to kind of work on it a little bit more. I would like more independence from it. I mean, I get where you're going with it, but I think that there needs to be. I think pen to paper needs to occur a little bit more to kind of clean it up some, so that it doesn't create an avenue for abuse.
Well, if you don't mind, I was thinking that not only that, it would save us. Let's say that we had a problem like that, and it would save us from, say, hiring an outside law firm to go into an abuse investigation and all this stuff. All we got to do is go, whoop, you get the fine, you're out the door, or whatever. So.
Yeah, but
it
who's
would make
going
us,
to
it would
trade?
simplify a process and cost us probably thousands and thousands less.
But who's going to sit here and train the person to recognize abuse?
I think it would,
Where's the legal, like, for me, it's like I need a legal background or, some form of background other than a high school diploma to sit here and judge the level of abuse. That somebody's that's been trained. I mean, if we had a social worker on staff but I'd still want them
You mean like an HR?
but I'd still want them to be independent. That's the problem. It's like when you sit here and you have,
Because we're paying them, yeah. I know.
that's the thing. There's a difference when, you're having these outside attorneys where they're doing a thorough investigation and they are, they're like, we have our own, code of ethics, professional responsibility with the Florida Bar Association, that, if you don't pass the what was that test called again?
MPRE.
MPRE. If we don't pass the MPRE, we can't be a lawyer. Even if we pass the bar, we still can't be a lawyer because we have to have specific ethical trainings. And I mean, it was a good class, and then, every time you go to take another state's exam, you have to take that test again to make sure that your moral compass is on point. And, again, this is, you're literally asking someone who's gone to school to basically learn about whether or not, you painted the fence with some kind of paint or you have debris in your front yard. It doesn't make sense
I
to
don't
me.
think I would diminish our code enforcement.
But I'm just saying, they're trained on building codes. They're not trained on ethical codes and, social work or psychological work or things like that. That's the thing that I have an issue with.
No, I understand that.
And
there may very well be programs there for that training.
well, I think I'd like to see that before we put something in place. I'm sorry. Daniel, come on. Sorry. Come to the mic. Sorry.
For this topic, let me go ahead and express my name. My name is Jean Daniel Lazar. I'm with Miami-Dade County Solid Waste Management Code Enforcement Division. I am the North Region Supervisor there. And my job is to make sure my staff is following the Chapter 15 for Miami-Dade County. That is for the code. Now, the term that I have a problem with is the Code of Conduct. The Code of Conduct, how it is managed is by a ethic board, where even, for example, if I commit some sort of crime, even though I might be found not guilty of it, but the ethic board can say, hey, you as a county employee, you were beyond the duty that you're supposed to represent the county. That means the fact that your name, they're not gonna say Jean Daniels, they're gonna say Miami-Dade County employee committed this crime. So that ethic board take charge, and even if I found not guilty, they will still come and say, hey, you were liable. Now, this is the problem, the reason I bring that up. When you use the word code of conduct, I don't think a internal division or department should be weaponized to administer or champion or to assess that kind of thing, especially, and I've been here long enough to recognize that this commission can be toxic. And when I mean toxic, that things I have witnessed can happen where now you're gonna say a code enforcement officer for this city gonna come and write anybody a citation because they were not properly, they were not behaving correctly. I think it would be best if you have a different group. It could be a citizen group or something, but I don't think you should, I'm going to use the word weaponize the code enforcement of this department, where each of you have arm reach access to. I could send anybody after my acting clerk because I don't like the way she look at me. You know what I'm saying? And now she's getting citation left and right. And
Well, they would
that's
have to
my
have-
stand.
Excuse me, sir. They would have to have some sort of egregious event, not just somebody going like this to you or something. You know what I mean? So let's.
With all due respect, sir, Mr. Commissioner, have you been sitting here to see things that can happen here?
I bet he'll not.
And I say that with all respect, with humbling respect. And I don't think that should be. A third party, a different outside, yes, but weaponize the code enforcement of this department, of this city, where anybody can say, hey, go write you up, just because, that's my stand. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think this needs, for me, think it needs to go back to the drawing board. But there's other commissioners on this dais, so I would like to see this go back to the drawing board where it's independent versus a staff member, and we have more guidelines, more education, more just, it needs to be scrapped and start over. I mean, that's just my opinion on this, what I'm seeing here, but you have other commissioners on this dais, so I'm just one vote. There was a motion, there was a second. Is there any further discussion? No, there's no further discussion? Okay, then call the roll.
Motion made by Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins, seconded by Vice Mayor Morset. Commissioner Jacobs?
No.
Acting Clerk Commissioner Kashem?
No.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Morset?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
No.
Motion dies.
I have no other comments, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay,
May I comment?
hold on, I'm gonna get through the roll.
Vice Mayor said,
I understand that, but I'm trying to go through the list here first, which was attorney comments, town manager comments, and then commissioner comments.
hold on, sir. Hold on one second, sir. Hold on one second. The mayor's gonna let you speak when it's commissioner comments, okay? Sir?
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, acting town manager comments?
Broward County started last weekend with the volunteers over the garden. We started the process. We purchased some of the modules that was given direction at 2 commission meetings ago, and the process started. So the garden is back up and running officially.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. Okay, commissioner comments, Commissioner Jacob?
I would like to add something real quick.
Oh.
When we onboard the new town manager, do we need to have a motion to have the interim town manager go back to his position as public works director, or is that direction?
This is,
Refer to the attorney.
well, let me ask this question, Commissioner. My understanding is Mr. Ghani is going to remain the acting town manager, and you would have an assistant manager brought in based on the action of the commission about an hour ago. Is that not the intent of the commission?
Yes. Wait,
Well,
you want?
he's actually the public works director, so
No, I understand. But when you hire a manager, then presumably Mr. Ghani will have the opportunity to go back to the public works director position.
Okay, but, well, the reason that he was made the acting town manager,
didn't
because
have
he
a
was,
manager
because there
or-
was no assistant town manager, because on the
Oh, I
organizational
see what you're
chart,
saying.
Yeah.
the organizational chart has the assistant town manager higher than the public works director or the administrative service director.
It's entirely up to the mayor and commission. My understanding was that Mr. Ghani would remain the acting town manager based on the motion that put him in that position
Okay.
10 months ago, whenever it was. If the commission wants to go in a different direction, again, that's entirely up to the 5 of you.
so then would we need a motion for that to happen, or?
Would you need a motion or direction? I think you need a motion, right?
Well, if the intent is to change Mr. Ghani's position, it would require a motion. But the last motion as it relates to his position was to make him the acting town manager.
Okay.
That wouldn't change. You have an assistant manager that'd be brought in. But if the intent is to change that dynamic, that would require a motion.
But we should wait for the background check first, no? So because if some reason the
It
background
would be
can't-
after he was onboarded.
Yeah, so that would be on, okay,
And we have the workshop, so I didn't know if you wanted
Okay.
comments in the workshop.
okay. That would be June,
I can add 30 minutes.
I don't know when,
I just added an additional time.
okay, all right, thanks. Okay,
I would just ask what the commission's intent is.
okay. Well, I know you want to wait, so do you want to just wait till the June 12th meeting to do that, or do you want to do it now? I mean,
that's fine, we can wait, because then it gets through. I'd rather do it now, but
That's fine. I'm fine with either way.
Once he's onboarded, there's no reason to be having two in
Yeah,
the
that's
position
fine.
until we have
But I just
the
want to,
new manager.
like, if someone,
Yeah,
then we have to give another direction to come back to him that position.
Okay, so then, all right, so then you'll make the motion to, once he starts to be to relieve,
Okay, so
I'm sorry, I'm looking, is the intent to make the individual that you're making an offer to as the assistant town manager to be the acting town manager? Is that the intent?
Well, it would only be for
until we.
until we
finish.
bring on the actual
yeah,
town
until-
manager.
Okay, again, I just don't know. I'm just trying to understand what you're looking to accomplish.
Okay, well, I think because we're trying to follow the organizational chart, which is that.
It
what
would
you're
be
trying-
hard to
manager,
take the
assistant town manager.
assistant town manager and have the public works director over the top of the assistant town manager, even though he's the interim. So let me make this motion. How about I do it this way? I make a motion that we make the assistant town manager the interim. The current interim retains his position as the public works director once fully onboarded.
Okay. That's
I mean, I understand the motion. So,
Okay.
so assuming the background check clears for Mr. Williams, once he is brought in, he will become your acting town manager.
Yes.
okay. Okay.
I second it.
Okay. Any discussion? Roll call.
Motion made by Commissioner Jacobs, seconded by Acting Clerk Commissioner Kashem. Acting Clerk Commissioner Kashem.
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Hodgkins.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Morset.
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. All right. Are there anything else for you, Commissioner Jacobs?
No, I gotta take an urgent phone call. My wife's calling.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead with the
I have
comments, though.
no comments.
Okay, perfect. Okay, Acting
I
Clerk.
just need to step out.
Okay, thank you. Acting Clerk Commissioner Kashem?
When I had a meeting with HR, so they are confused so many, like what's the budget, what is like, I even don't know. I think it's the finance was supposed to give them their budget. Please help them. There's just so many questions they have because who they directed and what they wanted to, like, lot of questions, but I actually don't know. So who can them directed them the way it is and why it's taking too long for the access so they cannot start. So who is helping them to do that for the access for the HR?
In terms of what, the budget for the positions?
No, the budgets, yeah, they need to know who will give them the budget. So I said could be finance because that's the only thing.
Finance has been working with them together with myself. Anything they requested in terms of the funding for each position that is vacant, that's why, it came up today on how much we are going to be paying the assistant town manager and all of that. So I'm giving them that together with what finance is giving them, David.
And as far as I had a conversation with Mark, you already received the computer for not yet? How long it will be take?
Mark McCool, IT Director. Could take anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks, depending on the PO. It's Dell. We give them a PO when it gets ordered.
Okay, because that's stopping them to have access because they don't have a
Who,
computer.
HR? No. That has nothing to do with access. They're
Have
fine.
access to ADP and they pulled up all
They
the-
started, they had access to everything they needed.
They have it right now?
Yeah, they've had it since the day they started.
Their computer, they rather.
This is just a computer we're putting in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They've had email, everything they need. I met with them actually yesterday.
A lot of things there, the employee handbook, and because
But that has nothing to do with
then
computer
they don't want to
access.
go through with the files. But I said if they can reach out to our formal HR is her name, I forgot. Babette. So maybe she can help, like, so they don't have to go through each files to find out the documents and everything because she knows where it is, right?
Yeah.
So, no?
No, I already took care of that. I provided them with all the documents that we have. I had the documents.
After my meeting or before? Like,
I don't know when you met with them, but I have the personnel manual in Word. I have the organizational charts, and I have all the policies that have been approved. So I've already forwarded all that information to them.
What day was that? Because
What date it was? Because I had
Last, gosh darn it.
you were here when yesterday. Day
Friday.
before yesterday?
Yeah, the before yesterday.
She was here.
It was
Tuesday.
sometime last week.
The White House meeting. Yeah, she was here Tuesday.
I think
It would have been before that. It was before
Okay.
that.
We
So
gave
what
them.
day it was? You was
I think,
there,
yeah,
right?
I met with them and then you came
Yes,
over. and
then
you
I met with them.
Correct. Because they had a scheduled meeting with me when I.
So you sent them before Tuesday?
Yeah.
You mean last Tuesday,
No,
August
this
8th?
Tuesday, like literally 2 days ago.
No, I sent it way before that.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
they have
can
all
we?
that. They
have
have all that information.
But this, I don't
They
know.
still
They
look
told
diff-
me they don't have an employee handbook yet because that's why they cannot go through the process. What our employee handbook saying.
They may not have realized that I sent it. I'll get together.
Can you
with
just contact them? Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just resend
Thank
it.
you, Mark.
Yeah, I think we need, I honestly think we all need a shared
Yes,
drive that we
do.
can all access
Help
it
them.
as well, so that, like, when I'm looking for the handbook and stuff too, I kind of like having to look and see, like, I have the handbook that we worked on, me and Melissa, from many moons ago. But
I can create I don't
Can
know
you
how that
create a
is with
shared
Sunshine.
access?
Well, hold on, wait.
No.
With Sunshine.
No, you
Thought
shared
it's on
drive
our
where
website.
anybody can pull it. Like, we all have access to the shared drive, because we don't have access to anything.
Does
We have
that
to keep doing
violate?
But
If I
all those
create one drive
documents
for
are on
just
our website.
commissioners?
Yeah, but I mean, like, when we're
I
looking
mean, I'm
for
fine with it. Takes no big deal.
I have to
Not
still keep
answering
asking for
for
stuff.
anyone.
like-
We're just getting the documents. So I don't think this is going to
I
be
don't
some
know.
time.
You're just talking about a repository for documents. Yeah, there's no issue.
Yeah,
with
that's
that.
fine. I can create one. I'll
Yeah.
create it tomorrow. You guys can have all access. Just for commissioners, right?
Yep.
Well, and and staff, because like it's
Okay.
it's
Like an
Well, I tell you what, we'll talk about it. Can
Okay.
we talk about this tomorrow or later?
yeah. I mean, I
Yeah, I
just
can-
want just a repository where everybody has access to records. I'm not saying that anybody can change the records. I'm just saying that everybody can have access to viewable. So if you have to mirror it and put it on a drive where it's viewable,
I could
Where
put
it can
records in there
automatically
and
back
make
up
it
like that.
read only. That's not a problem.
okay, yeah, because I know like it was fun trying to get like records for like the life insurance for
Yeah, you can put whatever you want in there.
or the pension records and stuff like that. It's like it's been fun trying
the
to
bus.
request all this stuff. So
No big deal.
you know, I want to make sure that everybody has access to it. That
Well,
should have access to
I'll
it.
create a
When he
commissioner
calls and says,
one.
hey, I need the old resolutions for the pension plan, and I'm like, okay, I'm trying to pull it, you know, from emails I have from like, you know, many moons ago, and I'm like, well, shoot, I'm not doing that. You know, I'm like, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if we can just kind of have like a central location where
Well, I could put a drive and then,
can pull stuff, you know, where we're not having to keep asking for stuff. That's basically what I'm asking for.
yeah, that's fine. And then whoever else you want staff to have access to it, that's fine.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. What other comments do you have, Commissioner? Kemp? No?
that's-
Okay. Clerk, Commissioner Hodgkins? See, I'm following the agenda today. Commissioner comments?
No, I don't have it.
Okay. Vice Mayor Morissette?
Vice Mayor Morse.
I'm gonna do my best.
I would like to, for
Can
the
you-
record,
I would like to, for the record.
Wait, you can't put him closer to the
that
microphone?
if we do,
Wait, hold on, Vice Mayor.
we choose not to
Wait, sir,
enforce
where's
our
sir? Okay,
ordinances-
sir, hold on. I'm gonna call you by the, phone, and then you can talk right into the microphone, okay?
Yeah, but that gives echo.
Turn everything off, get off of the meeting, or mute it, and then I'll be able to do it.
Hang on.
And I'll mute
you
you
gonna call
on.
me?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna mute you on this end as well.
You put it on speaker?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Hello?
All right, can you
Okay.
hear me?
They can hear you just fine.
Okay. As a local government, we pass ordinances and laws. If we choose not to enforce them, we make this government irrelevant. We cannot pick and choose when we feel like enforcing and not. That is my comment. Have a great evening.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. I have no comments for this meeting. What do we have? Canceled workshop commission meeting on May 22nd and regular commission meeting on June 12th. And food giveaway on June 1st from 9 a.m. to noon at the Preserve Park. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Aye.
All in favor?
All in
Somebody
favor.
makes my motion first. Who's making my motion?
All in favor? It's fine.
Aye.
Okay, all right. Aye. Meeting adjourned at 8:09. Mark, where are you going? That's the first meeting, that's not the second.
Oh.